Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Molly, and I'm here with Liz Hamilton, Cameron Alcott at Progressive Plants, and we were going to do Plant of the Week today, but there were so many beautiful plants, we're going to do many Plants of the Week all at the same time. So I'm going to have Cameron and Liz talk a little bit about what we have here, because I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Cameron, what do we have here?
Well, we got, 4 or 5 different varieties here, because we thought that this would be like a really attractive like layering type situation for a lot of people who have some bigger garden beds. So we started off, like in the front, we've got single neon star dianthus, and then we did, oh, there we go, Liz, AKA Vanna.
Yes, Vanna the plant lady. Look how
So,
beautiful those are.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite dianthus because they bloom for a very long time and they have like better color than like Fire Witch is the one that's really popular, but single neon star just blows Fire Witch out of the water.
Okay, now you keep saying that, but I don't know why.
Because it blooms longer, the blooms are actually slightly bigger, and the color's more intense and doesn't fade anywhere near as much.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get a better contrast with the silvery blue foliage and the pink flowers with it. So we like it a lot. It blooms almost continuously. It has been a fantastic perennial for us to use. And so we're trying to get people to switch from Fire Witch, which has been the popular one for like 15 years. We're trying to get them to switch and do something else. So.
Something Cameron didn't mention either is that it has an excellent smell. Fire Witch did too, but this smells just as good. Sometimes I think when new cultivars come out, the smell is the last thing that's on the mind of the breeder. And for this, we're not losing any of that. It smells amazing.
See, and I've never smelled it because it takes so much effort for me to get down to the ground to try to go smell this.
I don't know, maybe Cameron should stand by Liz so we know exactly the difference. I don't stand by Cameron very often because I feel really short,
Yeah.
which I am anyway. Okay, so the dianthus is gorgeous. I love it. So what do we have next?
So the next we have, this is a Catmint actually. This one's called Limelight. This is probably one of my favorite Catmints ever because again, it has a really long bloom time as most other Catmints do. But the chartreuse, limey yellow type leaves on it I think look really good with the blue flowers that they get. And it creates a real interesting situation when you start combining different colors with it. And this will get probably, like the ones that I've used get about like 2.5 feet wide, but they don't get very tall. They're more of like a mounding type of perennial, so they'll get like a little bit taller than the dianthus in front of it. But I mean, it's really gorgeous. And as you can see, it plays really well with the helianthemum that we have right here, which is called the varieties.
Heliopsis.
No.
Heliopsis.
Yes. Heliopsis. Helianthemum.
Yes.
Yes.
Always ask Liz.
Always ask Liz for Latin.
It's Heliopsis.
It is a Heliopsis. They're all the same.
But the common name for it is smooth oxeye or smooth daisy. So that's it. But it's not.
Can you hold one of those up? Those are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, I love the colors.
And they come in all kinds of different, but these are bred with that like really dark foliage on it. And the flowers, this one's a really good example. The flowers fade into different colors as the blooms age. Oh, wrong one. Okay, just kidding. So they start out this deep red and then they fade into that bright gold.
That is gorgeous.
The leaves stay this really nice color. They don't fade out. So
the leaves don't fade and turn green like in the heat like a lot of these.
No, it's a native. So a prairie native for us, like most of ours. Bees love them. It's great for local native wildlife and local pollinators, and it gives you a really nice contrast, and it's a great late blooming flower. Like everything in this mix that we've put together, it's late blooming, which is really good for pollinators who are getting ready to put themselves to bed for the winter.
Okay, so because I like honesty, I want to see size. So can you kind of hold up your hand how tall you think they're going to get?
This cultivar doesn't get super tall. So
okay, so about 3 feet maybe?
Yeah, 3 to 4 feet.
3 to 4
Yeah, a lot of it just depends like on the weather that we have too, like how hot, how much water.
Right.
You can control like a little bit. You can kind of control like how big things get, just like with how you water. I have a tendency to not water a ton. That way that things don't get huge and gangly and lean over. So I try to scale it back a little bit, and that takes practice. So you just kind of have to know what things are doing. So. And
this particular Heliopsis, I mean, there's all kinds of different cultivars. There's several others back here. Like I've grown some that are just plain yellow that are like chin height by the end of the summer.
Oh wow.
These won't get that big, but making sure that you pick the right cultivar for your space so that you know what it's going to get, just following the label. This particular one is called bleeding heart, but it's not a bleeding
Oh, you were
heart.
supposed
That
to
is a
say
different
that.
plant. Well, we already said this one's limelight, so we're kind of on the.
Yeah, like
get you
how many
anyway.
different limelights of things do we have?
So
Okay, so we
this
do
is
not have a
Nepeta.
hydrangea, and
Yes.
we do not have a bleeding heart for the spring.
No. So this
Different
is
plants.
this is Nepeta var limelight. This is Heliopsis var bleeding heart. So they're
Ooh,
not.
is that a native bee in there?
Yeah, bright green native.
Sorry,
bee.
we're nerding out right now.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
Neat.
Oh, isn't he beautiful?
bright
These
green.
guys. Yeah, that's fun. So if you like pollinators, all of these are great for that.
Yeah, they're
so speaking
fantastic.
of pollinators, what about the blue flower in the back?
Oh, this is my favorite Caryopteris, also known as Blue Miss Spirea, also known as Bluebeard. It's probably got another name, but here in the industry we call it Caryopteris. This specific one is called Beyond Midnight. It's a proven winner, and this has been the best Caryopteris that I've ever seen, ever produced. It has a really tight form to it, and it has way more blooms, like I guess per square inch than I've ever seen on a Caryopteris before. They don't get really long and leggy.
That's why I usually don't like them.
Yeah, my main complaint with like the traditional ones like Dark Night, Longwood, or yeah, Dark Night, I think,
The Dark
Longwood
Night.
Blue, just the regular Blue Mist. There's like a couple of other ones, but they would always get like really long and leggy, and these ones stay like really tight and compact. There's actually a job that we did a couple of years ago where it called for a boxwood hedge, but we couldn't find any boxwood because there was a huge shortage at the time. So we actually replaced it with, oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't boxwood, it was privet. And we actually replaced the entire privet hedge with this Caryopteris, and I gotta tell you, 150 of these all in a row look amazing.
I'll bet
So
that's gorgeous.
especially with all the bees on them.
I bet that area just hums.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. So, and then
How tall did you say they get?
we think they're going to stay about about 3 to 4 feet. I'd be surprised if they hit the 4-foot mark, just with like how compacted they really are. So, but they haven't really been planted and stuck in the landscape. Here they've only been an introduction from us for about like what, 3 years,
Yeah.
I think. So we don't see any full-grown ones anywhere as of yet. So, but most of the ones that I've seen are only about like 3 to 4 feet tall. So.
Okay, so now there is a plethora of ideas on how to prune a Caryopteris,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to hear your opinion and Liz's opinion.
I treat it like a perennial, and I just cut it back at the end of the season.
That's one way I've heard. What about you, Liz?
So I prune it back by half and shape it, typically.
Okay, yeah. Because I used to work at a botanical gardens, and they would go through and sculpturally prune them.
Yep, that's
For the
that's
winter.
usually how I do it. Just so they
Yeah.
look nice with winter interest all the way through. You can prune them into the ground, and they probably need that every couple of years just for
Then they
rejuvenation.
come back like really heavy.
Yeah, they'll flush back just fine. I usually just leave them in a ball through the winter time, just so that there's something there.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, there's many different ways to prune them. They're great shrubs. And now
Yep.
that there's one that I don't hate,
No, but they're great for pollinators. Like I've never seen so many bees on any plant here. I mean, these actually seem to attract like more bees than the other Caryopteris do. I mean, it's amazing. Like if you go to like the block that we have over there, you can barely see the flowers. There's so many bees on them.
yeah.
So
You can't see any
Well, the
leaves.
color, you
you can
can't
see
beat
it in
the
the
color.
distance over there. You can't even see leaves. It's just the blue.
yeah,
from
it's just the blue. I mean, they look
flower head.
amazing.
Yep.
So
Against anything like particularly the Nepeta that's going to have that chartreuse green color, it's going to be outstanding. I mean, you could just put the Nepeta and the Caryopteris together, and they're going to be beautiful,
Absolutely gorgeous.
stunning. Yep.
And then the Caryopteris it blooms blue also.
yep, it does. So and it usually starts blooming around the beginning of August, and then just kind of goes till like the end of the season. And the one thing that a lot of people don't use Caryopteris for, it actually has really good fall color. So they'll actually go more of like a yellow, like orange to reddish as they kind of shift in October. So again, that's like something that people don't really think about with the Blue Miss
Yeah.
Spirea. They get them for the flowers and for the pollinators, but their fall color isn't too shabby at all.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, now every single good plant combination has to have something texture in it. And I love what we chose because it's what I chose. I was pretty heavy-handed on this choice.
Well, throw all my plant choices away.
I did.
Just kidding.
Because I wanted this this one. So what do we have here, Karen, that I love so much?
This is actually a panicum. This is another proven winner.
It's a switchgrass, right?
It's a it's a switchgrass.
Another native.
Yep. This particular cultivar is called Cheyenne Sky, and it's more of like a bluish green color for the foliage. But then the tips kind of mature into like a reddish color, a little bit like what Shenandoah was. This I think is an improved variety because the color is like a little bit more intense, and you'll see it more and more as it ages into the season. Like towards the end of September, this will get even more color on it. And structurally it's really good. My main complaint with most panicums is that they have a tendency to kind of fall open towards the end of the season, and this one seems to be a little bit more upright, and I haven't seen it flop like in the fields here or in the landscapes that I've used them in.
Yeah.
So,
and the fields here too are getting overhead water, and they're not flopping at all. So especially if you have a drip system at home,
Yep.
I think these wouldn't have that issue at all.
yeah.
I have some. I have the one with the name I can't pronounce, but it looks a lot.
Russelbrush?
Russelbrush, yes. And it is not flopping either. It's gotten really, it's nice and full, but it's
Yeah.
staying straight up.
Yep.
And I love the seed heads. That's one of the reasons I really like them.
Yep. And these ones stay a little bit shorter too. I think they'll get about 4 feet, maybe 4.5. So they're not like overly huge either. So they're a really good thing to have in the landscape, especially if you have like smaller lots, like if you live like in Daybreak or some of the newer developments like in Eagle Mountain, Saratoga Springs. That's one thing that I do like about a lot of the branded product is that, like Proven Winners, the first editions and places like that, they're actually developing plants for the lot sizes that we're
Yes.
building on now. So yeah, sometimes they're a little bit more expensive, but when you don't have to come out to maintain them anywhere near as much,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned, that's a cost savings.
A huge cost
So-
savings. Or replace them because they've way overgrown and you can't stand them anymore.
Oh yeah, and if you've ever planted the wrong tree in the wrong place and then had to remove it later, that $100 tree or $200 tree that you bought just became a $1,000 tree, and then you
Yes,
have to go
it
buy
is.
another tree on top of it. So
Yep, that's ridiculous.
yeah.
So definitely, when you purchase plants, look at the mature size and believe it. And if you don't understand exactly what that mature size means, walk it out. Set something out so you can see what 4 feet around actually looks like. So
The
I
right
like
plant
that.
for the right place.
Yep.
Okay, well, I love this a lot. So anyway, thank you for joining us. If you would like to get any of these gorgeous plants, you could definitely call Cameron at Progressive Plants. He's got a website. Was it
ProgressivePlants.com.
Okay, it's really hard to remember.
It's really progressive.
It's really progressive, yes. But anyway, I love what he grows here. They're absolutely gorgeous, high quality plants. And if you have any questions about anything, pretty much plant-wise, I should say, talk to Liz.
What is the average airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
The internet says 40 miles an hour.
Oh.
See, she knows it all.
African or European?
Before this gets way too far off, go enjoy yourself and have a wonderful garden adventure.